Sometimes laughing stocks on the internet are made fun of instantaneously as soon as anyone notices that they exist. In another case, it is a slow burn, and over many instances, a community starts to turn against them. However, what we will be discussing today is a third way that this can happen, and that is one instance which tears apart all the goodwill that you've built in a community, turning everyone that used to like you against you. This is the story of Steven Tran.
Now you may be asking yourself, who am I even talking about? I'm talking about Steven Tran. Who is Steven Tran? Excellent question. That's what this video is here to answer. Steven Tran is a half-French, half-Chinese person who was raised, at least in part, by his parents in the United States, in Indiana, as well as Canada and France. He was born in 1989, but I have read conflicting stories about where he was born from himself and his childhood friends. But why am I talking about him? The screenshot that I showed right before that really cool compilation was how Steven Tran, or Chin, became known to me. That was a screenshot about him talking about the fertility of young children. Preceding this, Steven was regarded as a mostly harmless schizo poster, an online person who thought himself to be a prophet. But that screenshot was a breaking point in his otherwise excusable chain of internet antics. I present to you the 7 deadly sins of Steven Tran, or, for my dyslexic brothers, the Steven deadly sins of Steven Tran. Let's get into it. For those of you that don't know, because you're a heathen or a Viking or Steven Tran, the 7 deadly sins are pride, envy, wrath, greed, sloth, lust, gluttony, and ball. Okay, maybe that last one is just my own thing that I consider a sin. But everything else, I am going to go over how each sin applies to him. Pride. He considers himself to know the most. Considers himself a prophet. Seems kind of prideful. Envy. He is jealous of people who live in China and speak Chinese, or Mandarin or Cantonese for my book readers out there. Wrath. He feels vindicated whenever bad things happen to people, especially those that don't believe that he is a prophet. Greed. Much like other religions, he needs people to be GTK, believing that he is owed the time and faith of others. Sloth. He's actually too lazy to learn Chinese, so he scripts his Chinese into ChatGPT, and also his responses, because you'll see, you'll understand in a minute. Lust and gluttony, these are going to be paired together. He wants a harem. A harem? Harem. Harem. He wants a harem. Section 1. Pride. Of course, there is an inherent amount of pride in presuming that you are a prophet in a religion. The he, as he begins to call himself. This manifests in a myriad of ways, ranging from any natural disasters that occurred to a place that has not accepted him as the one true prophet for every single religion. Also, it comes down to every religion, every other religion. If they do not have him, I could forgive this, Jesus could not forgive this. I could fix this problem, you cannot fix this problem. I am the prophecy fulfilled. I am the prophecy manifest. I knew that this would happen. Every time it is someone about to bully him or something bad that happens, it is, I knew. If you had listened to me, I am correct. I am greater than faith. I am greater than fact. I am me. I am the all-encompassing guy. I be he, as Jesus said. If you had listened to him, you would be in a better spot. You would be less bald. Your feet wouldn't be so tall. Your hands wouldn't be as hairy. And you would know more. You would understand trees better. Steven Tran speaks for the trees. Also, as a prophet, you are allowed to be racist, according to Steven. But only positive racism. You can only, if he thinks it's good racism, that is the correct racism. But other racism, no. If you ever question Steven's mental health, you are wrong. Why would you think a person is insane for thinking themselves a prophet, capable of seeing the future and being the only divine answer? This has never happened before. But the pride allows him to think that he is greater than God. I am not God. I am greater than God. I am the he. I am the prophet. I am the one. I am Neo. Steven Tran is Neo. How else could you remember to be a good, true, kind, or GTK, as Steven likes to say? That is the one, the true, the light. If you have not listened to him, figure it out on your own. Because why is he going to tell you? You haven't been GTK. Have you done harm? And this can result in basically even Steven being against weightlifting. Saying that you can't weightlift because what if you drop a bench press on a bug and it dies? You have committed a non-GTK. You've been GTK-less. Salvation comes from Steven. If you were going to end up in some kind of a Jonestown if you follow Steven. I don't know how. I don't know if anybody was listening to this and they're like, well, he seems like he's on the right track. Don't. You're going to drink some punch, but it's going to be weird punch because he doesn't, like, here, right here, like, how is I can't read this. I don't even know what this says. Argadarga Barga, founder of the Hargabarga Badarga. He listened to Steven and he has Steven to thank for this. He is. Thank you, Steven, for making the Hargadarga religion popular in the town of Arshkin Bargain Darfin. Another premonition fulfilled. Katrina wished for him to see more ladybugs. And he did. He saw a ladybug only 4 hours later. The problem with Steven wanting to be David Koresh of the Branch Davidians is sometimes it manifests in him doing some David Koresh shit. Like, I don't know. What could we... I'm trying not to get this demonetized. So, there's probably some overlapping actions between David Koresh and GTK, Mr. Steven Tran, that I could go over, but I'm not. Because, let's just... GTK is not for the kids. Not for your kids. That's what I'm getting at. Chapter 2. Envy. So Steven is also a jealous person. He's a very emotionally volatile person, but in a sneaky kind of way. Steven is jealous of people that live close to China, people that can actually speak Chinese, and people that live in China. That, obviously, you don't speak Chinese, you speak Mandarin or Cantonese, but not everybody reads books, all right? This is not supposed to be educational, except for you're learning about the trials, tribulations, and lolcow antics of Steven Tran. But he's also jealous of babies that get to breastfeed. And I don't know if I could show any of these screenshots without getting this demonetized, but Maybe I'll make a drawing. Maybe I'll do a silly little video. Editor, do you got anything for this? Steven is actually so jealous that he pretends that he can speak Mandarin or Cantonese. I'll get more into that in the Sloth section, but I felt like it should be mentioned here. Chapter 3, Wrath. Hell hath no fury, like a Steven Tran who was laugh reacted. So if you know me outside of YouTube, you know that Facebook is kind of my primary social media engine, I suppose, and laugh reacting is an ability that you have on there. And for some people, it ruins their day. For Steven, it will ruin your relationship for the rest of your life. He will remember that you laugh reacted something about him, and it means that you are showing solidarity with the enemies, the evil people in this world against him. And as a result of that, he will go out of his way once a week or once a month or every so often, I promise you it's going to happen, to sad react to your photos, to say, hey, remember to be GTK. He goes out of his way to make sure that that he is still watching. And not only is he still watching, if something bad happens, he gloats. He goes like, oh, remember that time you sad reacted? Now you deserve to get hit by that car. That is the kind of person that Steven Tran is. More or less, it's like having a cyber stalker who is a dork, who will go into any comment section that you appear on, any open comment section, and just sad react and be like, I have not forgotten the transgressions of the past. I'm not gonna do his accent because like he's not Chinese, but he's trying to sound Chinese, and we both know what he probably talks like, and that's just, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not going to do it. All right, I might do it at some point, but not right now. Chapter 4, Greed. So greed as an abstract can mean you're acting with avarice, meaning you are trying to obtain a monetary wealth. But greed can also mean time. You owe me your time. You owe me more time than you owe yourself. You owe me your efforts. You owe me your faith. You owe me your soul. Now, is that super uncommon with people who want to start cults or consider themselves a prophet? No, it's not. It's pretty typical. What is kind of confusing, and I will do my best to break this down, is his religion. What is his religion? And not exactly like I'm a good faith interpreter of his belief system. I will do my best to explain it succinctly, though. He believes in individual revelation. Now, what is individual revelation? It is the idea that a spirit, a body, or a god communicates directly into your brain. That's the most concrete explanation that I can give as to what it is that he actually believes. But the problem is that with this, you don't really have any applied function. So the idea is that you are to submit yourself to his teachings. The problem is every other teaching that he gives is different. There's no real through line for this religion. He believes that China is the center of the universe, and that everything is holy, but also almost nothing is holy except for him as the prophet. It's like based on center realm, but it's also based on, I don't know if he knows. I don't know if he knows what he believes. I certainly don't, and I've spent months researching this guy. Everything is a contradiction upon a falsehood. Maybe Steven Tran is the center of the universe. Maybe he is the sun. So a big issue with him believing that China is the center of the universe is that Steven, although wanting to be Chinese, has never actually been to China. Which it's kind of like saying, have you tried that new restaurant in town? They have the best burger you could ever eat. And then you go, well, have you been there? And then the person goes, no, I haven't. Never, I don't even think I've driven by that place. But I read about it. Am I spending my time trying to unravel the schizophrenic rantings of a Facebook personality in order to make a lolcow YouTube documentary about him? When I would be better off going to a local insane asylum and having them interpret his words. Yes. Yes, I am. I'm just using this as a tool to show why nobody owes Steven their time. Except for me. Click like and subscribe. Chapter 5. Sloth. Steven is lazy, but not just normal lazy. Like I said, Steven believes that China is the center of the universe, but he's too lazy to actually learn Mandarin or Cantonese. During my research for this, I reached out to a friend who explained the difference to me. So traditional Chinese is the writing system. Mandarin or Cantonese are dialectical models. He writes in traditional Chinese. However, he writes it like he has ChatGPT do it because a lot of people can't really understand. I had my friend who lived in mainland China for 5 years. He was like, can you tell me what this guy is saying? And he's like, I can tell you a lot of it, but some of it, like, I can't identify whatsoever. The problem with that is he doesn't speak Chinese, so he doesn't really know how to write Chinese. Hopefully I've clarified that enough. Which, don't get me wrong, Steven is a god king, a deity. He's a prophet in and of himself. However, I think it's indicative of a deeper pattern of behavior, where he is too lazy to do the bare minimum to make it feel like you're not talking to a literal robot. And it makes a lot of his responses come off in a way that you're like, I cannot believe that a human wrote this. Which, in all fairness, could be because he is the second coming of the sun, or whatever. He's a deity. He's a Marvel superhero whose powers are the ability to never have a human conversation with anyone ever. And he's got these weird little brackets everywhere, and like odd emojis. It's just very clear that he did not write these. That's what I'm getting at with this. He feeds them through a ChatGPT language model of some sort, and that's his superpower. That's what China blessed him with, is the ability to run social media comments through AI before he responds. And that's why you should pray towards him. He's like the Mecca. He's the Mecca of online deities. He's Jesus with he's Muhammad with a Facebook. Check him out. Follow him. Pun intended. And obviously I'm just showing like a few examples, because there's about, 100,000 of them, because he responds to every comment like years after it happens. Well, that's maybe, I'm exaggerating. Months after it happens, because he's like, do not say that you are gay. Do not say that you are gay. Okay, that's not racist, because he doesn't actually sound like that. But I think actually he might sound like that because he doesn't know what Chinese people sound like. You got the echo the GTK. Ugh. Okay, no more of that. Also, that was an impression of a 12-year-old black boy. So if you thought it was something else, you're the racist. Chapter 6. Gluttony and Lust. Now, initially these were going to be 2 separate segments. However, because he wanted a harem of women of certain varieties, and we'll get into that more, I thought it would be good to put these 2 together. So, let's get into it. Steven is horny. He is unbelievably, he's more like a goon true kind. You know you get what I'm getting at? You understand? You picking up what I'm putting down? The man is out of his mind. And it is in everything that he says. Like, he's weird about his mom, he's weird about feet, which we found his deviant art. Math Magic is his deviant art. It is deleted, or mostly deleted now, because he got roasted for it, because of pictures like the one I just showed with the feet and the bread and this. Now, obviously, it is deviant art, so there's going to be some stuff that I can't show on here. I don't want my video to get demonetized or stricken down or age limited, age restricted. So this is the name on screen. You can go to the Internet Archive and type in the search term, and you should get the archive that I made of this. If all of it hasn't been reported yet, he's been reporting a lot of stuff. But back to the vast array of kinks that Steven has, ranging from ewe milk, as he calls it here. The man wants his wife ewe milk. It would simply be the best. Water would not cut it for a man that is trying to save the souls of the universe. As a matter of fact, if you are unwilling to grant the gifts of ewe milk, you want him to die. Is that what you want? You want him to die by not handing over your ewe milk? Along with all of these things, Steven wanted a harem of mainly trans women, but also natural women as well. And he wanted them to be his spiritual wives. There were a bunch of people that he approached about this. But of course, when you spit the game of I am the spiritual leader of the world, China told me, spoke directly into my body as it is the center of the universe, they reacted in a way such as, leave me alone, you fucking weirdo. Which, you know, kind of makes sense when you think about it. Now, being a horned up goofball is a pretty good reason to get made fun of on the internet. That is not the only reason that I am making this video. Another reason that I am making this video is because of a pattern of behavior that I really wanted to discuss. Things like this should be exposed. At the beginning, I mentioned that there was a screenshot that made an entire community of shitposters turn against this guy. In the screenshot, he's talking about the fertility of 8 and 9-year-olds, which in and of itself is disgusting and bad. However, there is a deeper pattern of behavior here that needs to be discussed, which would be the sexualization of young teens and the objectification of young girls. Now, I said that there was a deviant art, and I can't show a lot of the stuff here, so this is just a picture that he had drawn of a young girl on his not safe for work account. I'm not really sure how much more plainly I can put it. I'm not going to put anything like that in my videos because that's gross and weird. And wood chippery. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm getting at. With all of that being said, I think it's time to wrap this bad boy up with stuff that wouldn't necessarily fit in the other chapters. There are so many interactions that don't necessarily fit anywhere else. Like, I have no idea what could have happened to make this screenshot exist. Here's another one. This is all like screenshots from him. In this screenshot, he's saying that his boy pussy is quivering, which I can only assume is how China speaks to him directly. It starts vibrating when he needs to be good, true, kind. I'd like to get into the people that make fun of him. For whatever reason, they keep making these edits of him being stuck in glue traps, like a rodent. He really, really hates these, but they are so funny to me. Then again, it could also be any depiction of him, because they keep making him as a peanut. He gets very, very mad at that. They've depicted him as a baby a bunch of times, with the ewe milk, and then they did one like Chris Chan. They always do him covered in ants as well, suffering. I don't know how many of those I can actually show. There's a lot of very funny edits that are a part of the Steven Tran universe. There's also fake prophet accounts, which was like the Prophet Sheckelstein and Tyrone the Prophet, social credit enforcer. There's all kinds of these. And obviously they exist to just antagonize him and be like, hey, be GTK-less. as the prophet himself would say. There's some other stuff that I was waiting on confirmation about, but I never really heard back. Don't really know where to put it. And I am all for spreading misinformation, but I want it to be funny if I do. So, GTK killed Martin Luther King.
Damn, son!
Alright, I'm going to wrap up there. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
We interrupt this broadcast to remind our viewers to always be good, true, kind. The Prophet is watching.